Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. It is Local Chat, episode 216. Almost my weight. We're getting there, folks. We're gonna get there. It's gonna be exciting, and that'll be the real impetus for me to lose weight.
Over or under?
Actually, it used to be. I'm probably 216 now that I think about it. I used to be 220. 220 is like my max. Tried to lose weight, but I did start my intermittent fasting again, and it's held strong. Not at all yet, so maybe tomorrow. We're shooting for tomorrow,
but it comes and goes.
It's, some might say it comes and goes. Folks, this is Local Chat. It's a podcast where we talk about video games. I'm your host, Will Crosby. Camera's over here. Joining me this week, as always, my co-host, pilot of the ship, the man who eats all the food I won't, it's Ian Gibson.
Yep, that's right. Open my mouth, shovel it in. Right here for you, Daddy.
Hell yeah. And speaking of not liking cheese, Jake's here.
Correct. It's got a weird texture most of the time.
So it's not a taste thing.
Well, I like a dusting of Parmesan on pasta. I like the flavor, but like a hard part, like the Parmesan just like off the block. No, thank you.
Off the street Parmesan.
Yeah, just peel it off the road.
Prefer rural
Reggie Parmesan. Yeah.
Oh, great. That's awesome. It's good to have you here. Folks, we are going to talk about all sorts of things, but the first thing we are going to talk about is how one Chris Elliott from Save Data has infected my life by talking about the TV show Survivor, which led to my wife watching season 15 of Survivor, which led to us re-upping our Paramount Plus subscription because I thought maybe I'll watch Star Trek Voyager or Deep Space Nine or Evil, as I've heard it's very good recently. But we started Survivor season 1, and it's really good, and I like it, and it's awful. Sometimes, folks, good TV is just good TV, and regardless of the genre. And I just
even
like
if it's 4-3.
Did you not watch it when it was live?
I had never seen a single episode of Survivor before. I have seen.
See, that's wild to me because that was a cultural phenomenon. Like that kicked off the reality.
My youth pastor was really into Survivor.
It's like my family, like we didn't watch really. I had seen American Idol and America's Got Talent. I remember watching, but we didn't really watch like primetime reality TV shows because we had awesome TV shows like Monk and Psych and NCIS.
Those are way later, buddy. Those are way later.
Shows. And I know I'm just saying like those were the types of shows we watched on TV, not like reality TV shows. So, anyways, I just wanted a place to say that we're watching Survivor and it's very good. And I don't know how it's going to hold up for the next 47 seasons. But we'll have to see.
I think I stopped around season 10 because I would watch it with my family, but I just kind of, I don't want to say grew out of it, but they were doing 2 or 3 seasons a year.
I think it
got to a point. It just got to be too much. It was too much.
Does that include like the spin-offs where where it's like set on like a specific location, or is that part of just the main line?
I think that's just part of mainline. I don't think
it's all mainline. Yeah.
But it's just interesting. Plus, I will also shout out to Paramount Plus, I guess, because it's just like it's probably 480p shot like video, but it's just like upscales great on a 4K TV and looks awesome. Like it's just crisp and high quality. There's occasional compression, but it's when there's low light in the show. So I think it's the camera's compression, not the like tape of it. And it just looks really good for something that came out. I think 2000 is when it was out.
That's surprising because I think both of us have talked before about the problem we had. I believe it's on Paramount with Reno 911 and how the early seasons of that look like dog shit on a streaming service. So it's good to hear that at least one show, Survivor, the old content is displayed properly, and upscales properly instead of just being like a really shitty rip of it.
I'm surprised about that because I remember Reno 911, and I guess it was Paramount Plus. They were also showing it in 16:9, which that show, the first couple seasons are 4x3. on top of that, which could be like maybe they only have the streaming rights to like the DVD version, which is why it probably looks terrible. Because the Star Trek stuff looks so great on there, which is.
But the DVD was not 16:9. I know that because I had the DVDs.
Oh, okay.
The original DVDs at least were not 16:9.
I only say that because the Seinfeld, one set of Seinfeld DVDs I have were 16:9, and another set I have are 4:3. And I still, did I talk about this on here? The $220 4K Seinfeld Blu-rays are like for sale. Like they did a 4K restoration and it's 4:3 and everything, but it's 4K. It's $220, and I have a camel price watch on it, and it's been going down. It's down to like 160. I still don't want to pay that much for it. But on the flip side, on certain websites where you can download things, they're just the raw files, and it's like 800 terabytes of Seinfeld episodes, and I'm like,
I could
this
see
is the
that,
case where I want the 4K Blu-rays because I don't want all of that stuff on my Plex.
Yeah, that's
like
true. Yeah, because a 4K Blu-ray movie like is between 50 to 80 gigabytes just for that movie raw rip. So if you imagine a TV show, that's like 6 episodes of Seinfeld is 80 gigs, let's say.
Right. Oh, sorry, not terabytes. Yeah, 800 gigabytes. Almost a terabyte was the full like download thing. So I'm like, I'm good. So I'm excited for that to come up. Anyway, Survivor. The only thing I told Karen is we can't watch seasons of Survivor back to back. Like, I desperately want to watch Andor, and I'm like, when we finish Survivor season 1, I want to watch Andor, please.
No, you're not allowed to. You have to do the real experience, which is you have to intersperse Survivor with Big Brother and start with season 1 of Big Brother, because that's what it was.
Oh, no, I can't do that.
Oh God! And the problem was Survivor was once a week. Big Brother, when I was watching it, the early seasons was 3 times a week. Like they would have 3 times a week. They would have an hour episode because think about it. They're getting 24 hours of footage every day.
That's true.
So they really would check in, and they would have like a Monday event, a Wednesday event, a Friday event, and then they would intersperse it with footage from throughout the week.
That's, I've always wondered, and Jake, you've been in the film industry, and I don't know the answer, but maybe you might know it because you vaguely did a lot more stuff than me, or like you went to school and stuff for a bit.
I did go to school for at least a day.
What's the average amount of like leftover reality TV footage? Like Big Brother is a certain situation because they're in a house with cameras versus like a 90-day or a Survivor. Like how much?
It really depends on the show. I've never worked on any reality television, but the post house that I worked at right out of school had done a couple of reality shows, and I remember talking to one of the editors. And it's, way more than, of course, like a feature length film. You typically you're leaving most of what you shoot, probably 90 to 98% of what you shoot is getting left on the cutting room floor, because you're doing 45-minute episode if it's airing on TV, time for ads, and you're shooting hours and hours and hours. And
I assume they're just logging producers logging moments as they're recording.
Yes.
So it's not like
someone's
going back and watching.
Yeah, that I have heard, which is that the producers on set, and associate producers, etc., are logging, this moment happened, this camera, this time. So that way, when they go to store the footage and hand it off to the editor, they can give them a timesheet of like, these are all the big beats that happened.
I assume nowadays,
and that's essentially what that happens somewhat on a feature film as well. Well, you'll mark the takes that are good, and you'll mark the ones that maybe we can use a piece from this. But yeah,
that's interesting. I just always thought of like just they must just be wiping all. There's no way they're keeping all that footage. Unless that's
not necessarily true.
Just seems like
so
keeping it somewhere.
When my dad worked at New Wave Entertainment, they did a lot of press stuff, and they had essentially like a vault of tape where you would go and check out specific tapes from whatever. But I never saw it. I went to his office a couple of times, but of course the stuff where like source footage is kept is fairly secure. But he always described it as like a vault, like just a big library of rows and rows of tape and And at that time, I don't really think a lot was happening on digital. So it was probably all tape, or I don't know. I don't think they would have kept film stock there.
Yeah, I think
stored elsewhere.
I think not keeping that is by far the exception, because you hear the stories of like all those lost Doctor Who episodes, and people are like, "Oh, they taped over them, they got rid of them." Like that's a story because it's an exception. I think like vast majority of footage, there's always a copy somewhere that they're keeping.
That's true. Okay, that makes sense. I'm so happy my council of weirdos are here to inform me on reality TV. That's chit chat section, folks. We usually have that at the top of the show. Really gets you ingratiated and ready to hear the word of the Lord.
Good use of ingratiated.
Thank you. It's the only reason I used it. Folks, we've been playing some video games this week. Those video games are ones that you can play at home, or you can play them in the shower. Jake Terrio, how many games have you played in the shower this week?
Not any. I mean, I only have a Switch, and Monster Hunter Wilds isn't on the Switch. I don't know if it's playable on Steam Deck. I guess you could play it in the shower if it's on Steam Deck.
I think it runs terribly on there.
I would imagine it runs terribly.
I think it runs terribly on PC.
I'm playing it on the Xbox, and I wish my TV was such. I'm not allowed to turn off the HDR because somehow it's recognizing that my TV has HDR enabled, and I can't turn it off on the TV because then I could turn it off in the game.
Mm-hmm. But can you turn it off? So it doesn't. The Xbox has a setting to turn off HDR. Try that.
It won't let me. All the smart devices are communicating with one another and conspiring against me.
So, you're saying in the Xbox version it has HDR. It won't let you turn it off.
Yeah, I could turn it off if the TV and the Xbox would let me.
Okay, I see. I see.
But they do. Like, have you turned it off on the Xbox?
Here we go.
Because I understand what you're saying. But typically what happens is the device will talk to the TV and say, I'm this format, turn that on. But you can turn off HDR on the Xbox settings.
If you want to come over and try it, I'm just
asking if you've tried that.
Troubleshoot this. Because I tried to turn it off on the Xbox and then restart and reload the game, and the box is always grayed out. It won't, for whatever reason, it just always is grayed out. It will never let me disable the HDR. Even if I turn off from 4K to 1080, it still is like, no,
that's
you gotta leave it on because your TV just desperately wants HDR.
And that's the Xbox settings, not the Monster Hunter settings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is weird.
Did you try turning it off?
But despite that, game's fantastic to play. The game feel rules. I've not been playing it so much these past the past week or so, because I hopped back in when they did like a title update and they added some new missions and they added some like high rank, the main big boss monster in the campaign. They made it replayable, but it's a fun Monster Hunter game. I know I've been seeing, I guess, reports of like really like diehard Monster Hunter fans, of which like I like Monster Hunter, but I jumped in at World, so I've played World and Rise and now Wilds, so like all the modern stuff that apparently all like the diehard fans are like, oh, this is Monster Hunter for dummies because it has 1,000 training wheels and quality of life improvements and all that. But I don't care, it's fun. Big monsters.
Big monsters.
Give them a little bonk on the nog.
Oh yeah. Glad you're enjoying that.
Yeah. And then I've been playing Enter the Gungeon for like the first time since whenever it was that it came out. And I rolled credits and I killed the past on one of the characters and I killed the past on another of the characters. And now I got 2 more characters to kill the past. And then I think I'll hang up my cape and be done with it. But that I was thinking about this. Enter the Gungeon is one of my favorite kind of like in the roguelike style where the game opens up like once you're actually good at it. Like it's teaching you and it's teaching you and it's teaching you, and then by the time you're like, oh yeah, okay, I figured out the game, I know what it is, I'm having fun with it. Then suddenly it's like, oh, here's a bunch of other stuff. Here's like a bunch of new things you can do, which surprised me, but I was delighted when I was like, oh, there's way more of this game than I originally thought there was.
Was that
game.
Post game or just like post getting used to the game?
I don't remember 100% how much of it was before and after I rolled credits for the first time. But certainly some of it, or probably most of it, is after you roll credits for the first time. They dump a bunch of new stuff. Like the main loop of the game is descending down these 5 levels and then killing with the gun that kills the past, and then it resets everything. But then they're like, hey, there's actually more than 5 levels. If you do certain things, you can get to like branching, like offshoot secret levels and stuff like that, and like other NPCs that change the game in a variety of ways. Interesting stuff. Good game.
Yeah, I really like Enter the Gungeon. Karen and I played it a lot co-op, but I want to play more of it, but the co-op in that game, like she can only play the cultist, and it's just like fixed camera. So if you go in any 2 directions to try to dodge things, you're like really screwed. So
I was gonna ask if it was split screen or not.
No, it's one screen, and I think it would be better split screen for sure.
I didn't write it down, but Hazel and I we did co-op on a whim, a co-op playthrough of Untitled Goose Game, and it also does not split the screen. So there's certain times where like I was like, I need you to move with me, or I needed to move with Hazel so that we could actually accomplish the thing we were trying to do, because it just locks you in.
Yeah. I found games that do split screen like that, like it's very rare that a game that keeps you on the screen works well. And I feel like the only example, which isn't a real example, is like Smash Brothers. But like that is a fixed area anyway, so it's not like you're getting that far away from each other.
I think the platonic ideal is what some of the later TT developed Lego games did, where if you were close enough, it would be a single screen, and then as you got further apart, it would split. And then you'd have
that's nice. That's smart.
That's what that Astro Amigos game we were playing 2 weeks ago, that one did that, and I like that system. That game also just lets you, even if you're next to each other, you can just hit like the split screen button to just snap out if you want to like zoom in, which was nice. Yeah, Enter the Gungeon. Speaking of entering things, Ian, you want to talk about your game now, or do you want to talk about after my games?
We can talk about it now, so we can take up a lot of time, and then you can not talk about the other boring games you've been playing.
Wow,
I can see your list. I have, since last 2 weeks, I have started Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I just got into Act 2 yesterday. I am really enjoying it. Hey, top tip. I don't know if you did this, Will. Bump the game down to story mode, which is their easy mode. It makes it so much fucking better, because here's why. This game requires you to learn how to parry and dodge. Like, and Will, back me up here. I don't think you can get very far in that game if you never parry or dodge. Like, you're on normal difficulty, you're just gonna get fucking wiped.
You should learn.
And
how
so
to
basically,
do it.
But the thing is, the timing window is tight, right? And even knowing there's an audio cue, this is not a bad thing, but this is a type of game where they fuck with you, right? So there's like one guy who does like he's like, so-and-so is doing a slow attack, and he'll literally be like, whoa, like he'll do false wind-ups and fake outs and then hit you. And every enemy is different like that. Every enemy has a different timing cue, different audio cue, different animation cue. So you really got to put the work in to learn how to parry and dodge. And on normal difficulty, some of those enemies can just like 3-shot you and you're fucking dead, right? So bumping it down to, it's called story difficulty. I don't like that name because story difficulty implies it's like piss fucking easy, which it's not. No, but basically it extends the parry dodge window slightly. I think it's maybe like what would you guess? What would you say like the parry or dodge window is in terms of like frames or milliseconds is a normal mode?
On a scale of 1 to millennia.
I don't know. I mean, I rarely parried because it's so hard. Dodging is
it's probably like
10 times, because dodging is much bigger than parrying. But which they do a really good system of being like, when you dodge in the time frame of a parry, it calls it a perfect dodge. So you then know where a parry is, which is really neat.
Okay.
But yeah, the timing is very tight. If you're it's not like you're gonna fuck up and immediately get it right. You're not spamming it to get it, you know.
Yeah. That dodge probably has like a half second to a second window where you can get it, and the parry is probably like a tenth of a second.
Yeah.
Like it's very tight, and the hits are punishing, so it's hard to learn, because as you're learning, you're fucking up, and as you're fucking up, you're dying, right? And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. People can play at that difficulty, but for me, what's really nice bumping down the difficulty is that now the enemies that used to 3-shot me now like 10-shot me, which means I get 9 opportunities in this battle to learn the parry window and learn the dodge window. And the parry window is still tight. It's probably just a fifth of a second instead of a tenth of a second. You know, it's not like it becomes like 3 seconds long. It's not telling you when it is. It's the same thing. They've just made the window a little bit larger, and they've reduced the punishment for when you miss it. So now I'm parrying all the time. I'm probably successful 20% of the time with my parries. But when I miss the parry, it's not like, oh, fuck, you know, now my guy's dead or he's at 50% health. It's like, oh, now he's down to 75% health from one hit. It's like, okay, all right. Which has just made the game so much more enjoyable for me. So that's my top tip, honestly, is if anybody is sweating the parry, dodge, or dying a lot in fights and like having to rebuild their shit, just bump it down. The game still has difficulty. It still relies on you parrying and dodging properly. The you know, like there's like the side enemies that you come across that are just like, it's funny. Like the game feels like a good difficulty in the through line, but sometimes you're wandering through an area and you come across a guy and you're like, hey, what's this guy? Let's start a fight, and then he fucking one-shots you. Don't
go near the chromatic ones. They suck.
Yeah, those guys are still tough. I think I've only beaten 1 or 2 of them. Even on story mode, they're still tough.
Chromatics,
so there's definitely still challenge there.
Chromatics are like, hey, I know this enemy so well, I can hit all his dodges and parries. Like those are what they're there for, and yeah, you get fucked up. And they're nice. They're thankfully off the beaten path, but yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to go through them. So that's my point, is that like if anybody out there is like me, where you struggle with like frame perfect requirements for moves or games, and this game kind of has it with the parry and dodge system, which is not optional. You need to learn how to do that if you're going to make it through this game. Just bump it down to story mode. You're still going to get 99% of the gameplay. It's all there. They're just giving you more opportunities to learn and fail as you're learning these parry and dodges. So highly recommend it. Story's great. Game looks great. I do really like how the game is playing on these themes of grief. Like I knew what the story was from the original trailers, but the opening segment is very good. The prologue at introducing that theme of grief and how different people deal with it, and it just continues to play on that throughout the game. I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I'm going to finish it. Here's the problem, right? I've been
classic.
There's nothing wrong with not finishing a game.
I know.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with not finishing.
It's so funny.
It's just,
and I'm like 10 hours into the game
we
too.
gotta make that t-shirt.
I think the problem is I have wanted to play a JRPG for like a couple years now. I've played them before, but I think I was like, I'm in the mood for a JRPG. I'm in the mood. And then we get this game, which is basically a perfect fucking JRPG. And I'm playing it and I'm like, okay, this is a great game. I'm having fun. But then I put down the controller and I'm like, I could be doing so many other things. Like, it's hard for me to sit back down and pick up the controller because I'm just not really feeling the pull. The only pull I'm feeling is because of the story. And I do know it's like what was your total playtime, Will? Isn't it around 30 hours?
Yeah,
for main story.
32. My Xbox said I played for 32 hours. My story save was 27 hours.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So I don't know. I may keep going, knowing that I'm like a third or more than a third way through. So
it gets really good. Story gets really good.
I think, I think I'm just not at a point in my life where I'm just not hooked by JRPGs. Even a perfect one like this, there's just not enough there to make me want to sit down. Like I didn't put it on my list. I'm not planning on talking about it, but I played a lot more Factorio Space Age these last 2 weeks than I did this game. And it's not because one's better or worse than the other. It's just because a Factorio type game grabs me and I want to play that for hours and hours and keep coming back to it. Whereas this game, and I want to say depressingly, maybe JRPGs in general just don't grab me like that, even when it is a perfect one like this. So, I will probably keep playing a little bit more. I don't know that I'm going to finish it. That's I have no problems with the game. It's literally just, I'm upset that it's not grabbing me as much as I want it to, but that's a me problem and not a game problem. What about you, Will? Yeah, my understanding is you finished the game.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, I finished the game. I did both endings. They're both, I heard through some Googling of trying to figure out how to get both endings. People are like, there's some people complaining about the endings and stuff, but in my opinion, they're mostly complaining because I don't think they understood what this game was about. And it's very, they hit very well. And the story overall is really cool. Just especially all the character interactions at camp, talking with people, like the story of all the people involved, and it really goes some places that's super cool. And it's things that I just didn't see coming. Like I thought I was at the end of the game probably twice, and I still wasn't. As far as difficulty, I totally understand turning it down. I'm glad, because when you first said that, I was like, fuck. But when you say like it just expands all that stuff out, so you have longer time to learn things. That is the main thrust of this game, is knowing how to parry, knowing how to dodge, and knowing how each of those characters works. With their abilities and the way you play those characters, because they each have a different thing that they can do. And I think
just real quick on that. The one other thing it does give me is it gives me confidence to try to parry every single time. Like, I'm sure playing on normal difficulty, there are times you are dodging and times where you're like, oh, I'm going to try and parry here because I feel confident. Whereas on my gameplay, because a missed parry isn't going to kill me or take out 50% of my health, I am never dodging. I'm always trying to parry. Again, I'm only getting it 20% of the time, but it's giving me the confidence to always parry, which is another nice thing that it's given me.
They introduce another parry later on in the game that is a lot better. And then also dodging, like some effects only work with parry, but a lot of dodging things does Pictos and Luminas. Yeah. So like that's mostly why I dodge, also because I'm on the higher difficulty. But I like towards the end, the final boss is like, you're fighting these people and it's just all about feel of like when these dodges are coming, because they're busting out new moves. The final boss took me 3 tries, and none of those tries did I think, oh, this is bullshit. Like, what the I was like, okay, this is what I need to do. I got it. Here we go. And I just like, next one. And which is different. And that's how some people feel about Elden Ring and Dark Souls and stuff. In those games, I'm like almost there, but I get frustrated very easily because there's so many more things that can go wrong in an Elden Ring or a Dark Souls. And in this game, it's almost like I'm a set strict rules. So like, this is when I can dodge. This is when I can parry. This is when I can. And then honestly, my new rule with all video games is from the great mind of Jake Terrio, which is just do the damage over time and just wait that fucker out. Wait that fucker out. I burn every single bastard.
Several of the bosses in Enter the Gungeon I beat for the first time because I had some weapon that did poison damage or fire damage or something.
Burn those fuckers. I was getting up to
the funny thing is I mean, granted, your end game build may be different, but I'm always burning as well. But it's funny, the burning is doing such little tick damage, but I have all these other abilities that are like, hey, if you hit a guy, but he's burning, then it does twice as much damage, or it does all this other proc shit. So it's one of those things where like, I'm with you, I'm always burning, but it's like not for the damage over time. It's because of how the abilities start playing off each other while they're burning.
it's like, okay, my L attacks 8,000 damage, blah 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 attacks 4,000 damage, other blah 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 attacks like 5,000 damage, burn damage 25,000 damage. It's just like motherfucker, like I'm just gonna keep lighting you on fire. They really, that game, like they're like, here's the combat and here's how it works, and now here's that times 800 like through the rest of it. There's just so much stuff they added, and not in a complication way. It's just in a like you can do all this shit now. It's really fun. It's really great. I highly enjoyed it. It's also a fantastically gorgeous game, and a well-written story, and just overall great time. So I played it on Xbox through Game Pass. Definitely check it out if you like JRPGs. Also, this game made me finally click in my head how like turn-based JRPGs work. Like I get like like I still don't understand Pokemon quite as much, but like in these games it's like, oh, I'm doing this thing because it's helping my characters, or like damage over time, or like in growing up in every single RPG and every single Pokemon game, it's just like attack, and like it never quite stuck with me how to like make all those things work. So now I'm excited to go check out other JRPGs. I am excited to get back to Metaphor as well, and bring all this new like JRPG strategy to that game and see how it goes. So exciting stuff happening.
Ian gave me an idea.
Exciting stuff happening. What's Ian's idea? What did he give you?
No, Ian gave me an idea in this discussion that the next RPG that I attempt, I'm going to name my character Perry Window.
Perry Window.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Well, you should. This is on Game Pass, Jake. This is going to be in the Goaty discussion.
Yeah, no, I've got it on my list because I've only heard good things about it from y'all and the Save Data folks. Is it going to be in the Goaty discussion?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure. We're almost halfway through the year.
Yeah,
it's up there.
It's very good. Speaking of other very good games I played, I started and finished Dredge, which is a game Jake talks about a lot. It is a game where you're a little fishing boat in this new village. It's very dour and Cthulhu-esque. You are going out and fishing, bringing fish back for money, getting upgrades to your ship, and like uncovering these relics for a story. Overall, I really liked it. The game mechanics itself feel really good. Like going around and fishing is fun. The little fishing mini games are great. The boat moves. It doesn't quite move like a real boat, but it is swimmy in a way that you're like, even if you've been playing a lot, you can't be like super confident all the time. Like you got to manage not to hit things and all that sort of stuff. It's very fun.
GTA 4 driving.
GTA 4 driving for sure. With more consequences. But overall, I really liked it. I think my only issue with it, and I haven't touched any of the DLC, this is just the base game. It's like it felt like there wasn't a great sense of progression. Like I was getting upgrades. There's like 4 regions you have to go to fish throughout the game. And when you go to each new region, there's a new like little quest to like figure out to get the relic to bring back to the guy. And then you're using the research parts you find randomly and upgrades to like, okay, I need a rod that lets me do deep ocean. I need a rod that lets me do abyssal. I need a rod that lets me do mangrove. And you can get rods that do multiples of those. But it never felt like I was going to an area and I'm like, oh, finally I'm at level X and I've upgraded this thing. It was just all like the way to upgrade your ship was the same in every single region, and it just felt like oh, I'm just doing this whole thing and changing regions. There isn't like a big through line designed push to get me to the next type of fish, the next type of catching a fish. So that was the only part I wasn't super high on. And that, I don't think that's a detriment to the game. That's just like, oh, it would be cool if this game had that, like, because I think it would push it to another level of like being an awesome game. It was also on Game Pass. The ending I thought was really neat. There is
which ending?
Oh, is there multiple? Well, I just did the give them all the relics ending, which was pretty cool. And then there's DLC. There's a discount on the DLC. I might do it, or I might just wait for like a Game of the Year version to be on sale somewhere. And
it's more of the same. If you weren't like super in on the kind of open-ended nature of the progression.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once you get to the DLC, it's a little more direct because you're just doing like the one area. But it is just more of the same. It's good, same, but it is more of the same.
Yeah. Okay. I played it on PC and Xbox. I don't think it's good on either. Like, I feel like the menus want you to use the PC and the driving wants you to use a controller.
Yeah.
And there was I almost wish it had the Destiny mouse, because it was just like a lot of like clicking back and forth the two side menus to like move things over. And it's just like, I want it to snap more intuitively, or like a quick move or something like that. And it wasn't quite there, but I highly recommend it. It was still super fun. It was a great way to spend, I think, 8-9 hours it took me to go through it. Yeah, it was good. Nice dredge. And then finally, this is the big one I'll talk about. The Wildgate playtest I played this week. Wildgate being a game from Dreamhaven? What's their name? It is former Blizzard employees and Riot employees, which is very apparent because it is very Overwatch 2, and I assume it is very also whatever Riot makes. Is that League of Legends?
Valorant?
Or Valorant?
League of Legends and Valorant.
Okay, so it kind of feels like a mix of all those. And Sea of Thieves, everyone's favorite Sea of Thieves. There are 5 spaceships. Each spaceship is a team of 4 people. You are all launched into this area of space that has asteroids and crashed ships and all sorts of crazy stuff. And all 5 of you are trying to find the artifact and get out of the Wildgate at the end scot-free. Whoever escapes in their ship with the artifact wins. So the beginning of the match, you spawn on your ship, you're flying around. You can use probes to scan things. So you're like, hey, over here is a space station. So let's go into the space station, figure out whatever puzzle there is, or kill the enemies that are there, that being like NPC enemies. And we'll collect loot and stuff. Loot consists of, there's hard points all over your ship. So like one of them will be like, oh, this hard point or this pickup that you attach to your ship warns you when there's someone on your ship, an enemy on your ship. This one boosts your shields. This one you put on an enemy ship hard point and it's a bomb. Then there's also player upgrades like a thrusting, like you can use a thing to fly through space faster. Gun upgrades for your cannons on your ship. And that's it. So you're just going around, you're fighting other ships, ship-to-ship combat, you're killing other people when you happen upon the same place. And it's just really awesome. It's a cool space Overwatch 2 Sea of Thieves sort of game. It felt really good. The characters are really fun. The zero gravity, the flying of the ship was a little iffy. I really wanted my HOTAS to fly it. And I need to, when that game comes out, I'll need to change the controls, because spacebar was like up and control is down, and I kept hitting the Windows key. I just kept hitting the Windows key, and it was awful.
Yeah, that seems like they need to be closer.
Yeah, I really wanted it to be like, I don't know what I wanted it to be, but it wasn't very fun. But overall, great game. The community playtest was really fun. I think they wiped all the progress. I don't know when it's fully coming out. I think it's 2025, but I don't think they have a firm date yet. But I highly recommend it. It's just a good time. They also do this really great thing. Sorry, just to add, you just hold the letter C and you just teleport back to your ship, no matter where you are.
That's
the
nice.
only thing you can't teleport with is the ancient artifact, but you can grab loot, teleport back. So it's like you have this confidence of like, I just need to get to a place and then I can get back. Like you don't have to have, and you're managing oxygen on some of the characters, but the base character that you start out with, or one of them, is a robot, so they don't need to manage their oxygen. But even playing as characters who needed oxygen, I never once was like, oh, I need to go get oxygen. Like it just, you got oxygen. It's pretty great. You had a question, Ian?
Is this going to be free to play?
That I do not know. I would assume so. in their survey, they said, how much would I pay for this? And I think the lowest option was 20, and that's the one I selected.
Because it sounds great. Sounds like it could be fun, but it also sounds like it is a multiplayer only experience, and every match is 20 people. So I'm just worried about it being like a Conquered situation, where by all accounts, Conquered is a fun game to play, but if it doesn't capture an audience day one, it's dead. And so I really hope this is free to play. I feel like that's their only option here. Free to play and then word of mouth.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get it when it comes out. I think the thing I liked about it is like, it's not a game where you needed to engage. You don't need to engage with the enemy, like with other players, which is nice. Or you could go after the artifact. You could just be on your ship and kill other ships. And when you kill an enemy ship, like, they're out of the match.
So is it killing the ship or killing the people? Like, how does death work in this?
You respawn back on your ship, but
people can respawn, but the ship is gone, then they're gone. Okay.
And it's pretty easy to blow up enemy ships. They're very fragile, but not that fragile. They have shields. Like, if you lower your shields, you can go faster. Raise your shields, you're slower, but obviously you have shields up. People can come onto your ship, and like, the way your ship health works is it's your like core overheating, and then you can mine and get extra coolant to like heal your ship. So people can just come onto your ship, break in, and like start overloading your core. There's also like security doors, and your team is responsible for opening and closing doors. So if you leave a door open, people can just come into your ship. But if you manage your doors properly and like close them, everything, then you're kind of good. It's that sort of like Sea of Thieves, like making sure your ship's secure and stuff. Or it's kind of like the repairing of Sea and Thieves. And there's repair mechanics and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's fun. Like you said, it's probably gonna go free to play. I can't imagine I can't imagine them asking money for it. But I think them going free to play would, or at least free like for the first 2 weeks or something, would really get a lot of people in. Because and you know me, I don't play a lot of multiplayer games like that, and I really enjoyed it. And I don't play Overwatch, or Valorant. So that was Wildgate playtest. That was over the weekend. It was pretty good. Quickly, I started Doom the Dark Ages today. It's Doom. It's not the Dark Ages. I thought it was, but it's not.
You didn't see I mean, they've been saying that for months now.
No, but I thought it was still like the Dark Ages. It's just like a planet, and
it's a gothic planet, basically.
Yeah, it's like a gothic planet with like military people and all these people talking, and then there's like this high. I thought I was playing Warframe. Like, there's like these aliens who control the Doomslayer and like launch him down, and he's like going crazy, and there's like this emperor and this prince, and it's weird. I didn't play Doom Eternal, but apparently I missed a lot of world building because I didn't realize there was just like this random planet and these space elves and all this shit. It's kind of wild. No, I knew it wasn't. That was the first disappointment, that it's not actually Earth Dark Ages. But then I thought it was like an alien planet Dark Ages, but it's not even that. It's just like a little bit gothic. Like, people have guns and computers and all that sort of stuff. But it plays really well and it feels good. There's that pairing mechanic. Speaking of pairing, and shield throwing, and it'll kill you. It's good. Doom.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of positive reviews. I have it installed, but I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, I finished Clair Obscur and Dredge, and I said, it's time. I deserve to play a new video game. So I played that. And finally, Captain of Industry Update 3 with trains came out today or yesterday.
Ooh.
So I started a new game on a different island, and it's a good game. They completely redid the UI as well, and some of the tutorial stuff.
Fuck.
So
guess I'm playing that tomorrow.
I know, right? Shit. I don't know how I feel about it yet. There's been times I've been a little lost, but I'm glad I didn't just pick up my other save, because I think it would be A, I wouldn't know where I was, and B, I think the update 2 to update 3 is a little broken. So I didn't want to have something not work, and the reason is because I updated the game. They added asteroids as well, is I think the other thing. That's it. That's the games I've been playing. Do we like that? Are we happy?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. Okay, moving on. Discussion topic. Here's my proposal. Is it time to tell Ian about Indiana Jones?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I've been thinking about
in the Great Circle.
Can we
Yes.
can we hit business first? Can we hit news first
Yes,
quickly,
we
and then
can.
we get to the end and we say spoilers from here on.
Exactly. Okay, perfect. You hit the news, please.
Okay, let's start with the big news. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. Giant Bomb had a PAX East panel this past weekend. Jeff Grubb and Jeff Bakalar were there, and long story short, they said neither of them are working for fandom anymore. Giant Bomb has been sold. They have new owners now, and it is Jeff Grubb and Jeff Bakalar. And they signed the paperwork, but they're going to also extend ownership to Mike Minotti, Jan Ochoa, and Dan Reichert, who are the 5 key creatives at Giant Bomb right now. So essentially, Giant Bomb has been sold by fandom to the actual content creators at Giant Bomb, who would now be fully independent. Ain't this just a fucking miracle, Will?
It's pretty good. It feels good. I don't know how they finagled themselves out of that. I am in a Slack channel with a lot of people who had been laid off by fandom, and they were just being like, I asked about blah 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 site one time and was told it was blah blah like $50 million or something. So like,
yeah,
no idea what kind of deal they made out with, but I think, and they've mentioned it a few times, I think the fans' response to everything that fandom did, I think really helped them make whatever case they made to get that site.
I think the most surprising thing here is that fandom made the right decision here. Well, that's not true. I think that once they got into a bad situation where essentially they had pissed off people at Giant Bomb enough for 2 of them to leave and one of them to basically a major contractor to say they're never going to do content again, and a person still working at fandom to say they're not going to do content anymore, and basically, forcing them to fire them eventually. Once they got into that situation, right, fandom's options are either stay the course, try and convert Giant Bomb into something else, knowing that you're going to lose 90% of the viewers. All the content creators are going to be gone. You're going to have to reboot that from scratch and try and claw back some of it. And kind of the only thing you can take over are, I don't want to say viewership numbers, but the subscription numbers on channels like Twitch and followers, etc. But you're going to lose a lot of the paid people, but you'll at least still have those numbers. And that's pretty much it, right? Or make a little money now, get back a little goodwill, and let Giant Bomb go their own way. And one of those is the right decision, but 99.9% of the time it is not the decision that businesses make.
Yeah, it's an oddly egalitarian decision for a big corporation to make.
Yeah, and it is the sound business decision, like money-wise. Like in terms of like, stop throwing money at Giant Bomb to convert it into something it's not. Make money off of it now. You're clearly not suited to continue running it. But from a decision that is typically made by American businesses, especially ones that are trying to grow profit year over year, that is not the type of decision they would make. There would be too much hubris for them to admit defeat and try and spin something off for the purpose of goodwill and cashing out now, as opposed to thinking they can completely rebrand it into something better than it already is, while at the same time destroying its essence. So, I got to give props to fandom for that. They recognized the situation and did make things better. And it's great. Will, question for you. You watched the PAX panel live, right?
Yeah.
I did as well. Did you cry?
Did I cry? No, I didn't cry. I was in a car on the way home from Karen's parents' house with Twitch plugged into the speakers of the car. No, I didn't cry, but I was very happy and I'm very excited. I
did. Yeah. I cried. It's we were talking about the emotions of how much Giant Bomb means to us, how Subpixel would not exist without Giant Bomb, because half of the Subpixel co-founders got into this because of Giant Bomb and trying to be Giant Bomb in a way and trying to get to Giant Bomb. And it was very depressing the last 2 weeks, knowing that Giant Bomb was going to die. And so this Hail Mary miracle that, like we just said, should not have fucking happened, but somehow did in like a best case scenario. Yeah, I teared up, man. It's something you love that almost died, that is back and better than ever somehow. Fucking wild roller coaster.
Like Jesus.
Oh my god.
Yes, just like Jesus.
And I haven't.
It did take about 3 days.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think it would have hit me a little bit different if I had been keeping up with Giant Bomb content, but I haven't listened to the podcast or watched the site since Nextlander split off. And that wasn't out of any, or probably since Gerstmann left. That wasn't anything other than like I was listening to Nextlander and that's the one I like was going with, but I kept tabs with everything. And so now I'm actually watching stuff as it's coming out, because now they're allowed to do quick looks again, which apparently they weren't before.
Yeah, that was weird. Like I know they stopped doing it, but I didn't realize that was a fandom decision or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there was a lot of I heard. I can't talk about a lot of it, but I heard a lot of stuff from fandom people and just being like like there was no solution to them staying at fandom, so like this was the only solution, and it really made sense. So and it seems to have healed a lot of other relationships in the Giant Bomb community as well. Like Reichert being on Gerstmann's podcast was really wild to see.
Well, I'll just say there, that relationship was, I don't want to say never fractured, but Gerstmann's been saying this, Reichert's been saying this, where he's like, people assume we don't talk to each other. He's like, we've been talking for years. So I think it's made it easier for those collabs to be public.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's not like those relationships were completely broken by
no,
from my understanding.
No, I didn't mean it that way. I meant in the way of like, I don't know if fandom wanted them associating with people who had left fandom and things
That's
like
fair.
that. And there was a lot of stuff with that. So yeah, no, I people have always said that, and Dan and Jeff Gerstmann, I don't think are best friends. So I think that's why people think that. It's like, if they're not best friends, then they hate each other. You know what I mean?
You say that, but they are bringing back their anime podcast. They did announce that this week.
Right. So it's like, it's all this stuff, and there's also a lot of other shit that went down. So it's interesting to see once like a big relief happens, how many people are like, oh, I can, like Gerstmann being like, I can work with Giant Bomb again. People can come in, and even Nextlander being like, this is great. Like, I was so ready to mourn Giant Bomb, and now they're staying. It's like a roller coaster of emotions, but it has a happy ending. So
exactly.
Hell yeah.
Next news item, we do have some breaking news, folks. PlayStation executive Jade Raymond has left Haven Studios, which is the studio that she founded at PlayStation, and was developing an online shooter title called Fair Games. Apparently this comes after several weeks after an external test of Haven's first game, the online shooter Fair Games, according to people with knowledge of the matter. Some developers at Haven were concerned about how the game was received in its progress. This is according to Bloomberg under Jason Schreier.
Michael Bloomberg?
This is... I'm acting like this is big news, but the more I think about it, like, it's PlayStation Studios. It's another one of their online games that is not doing well, you know, but it hasn't been canceled yet. But it also hasn't been launched and canceled post-launch yet, like Concord.
We get news like this every week.
Yeah, like this, it feels like AAA studios and AAA publishers more and more nowadays are publicly swinging and missing. Like their batting average is shit poor right now. And this is just another example of it. Granted, this game hasn't come out. It could be amazing, but having somebody like Jade Raymond found a studio, the game gets to external testing, and then the feedback comes back poorly to such an extent that she decides to leave the studio, is like, either the game's bad or that relationship with PlayStation is bad. But like, hey, as somebody who just left their shitty job, like, you know, you don't just do that on a whim, right? Like, there's got to be valid reasons for that, either for getting fired or for fucking leaving. And it's not clear which happened here. Do you guys, how do you feel about PlayStation right now, either regarding their online gaming strategy or just PlayStation in general? I know they've publicly said this is going to be a slow year for them. How do you feel they are poised in the industry right now?
I think it seems like their strongest foot are like putting their best foot forward in the future is to keep doing like the really high budget single player stuff, because it seems like that's always done pretty well for them. Your Horizons, your Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us, and then it's the multiplayer stuff that's always been a bit more murky for them. And I don't know if that's just because like that's never really been their pedigree, and like that was one of those whole things of them bringing Bungie in, or one of their public things they said about it was like, oh well, we want Bungie's online experience for our host of other studios that are making online stuff right now. But this is like, it's not a small number of online shooters huh?
Sorry, it's just wild to bring in Bungie, who has had success and equal failure with Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, making the same mistakes over and over again, and say we bought them for it's like $3 or $4 billion. It was
$4 billion. It was Star Wars money.
To be our online gaming experts within PlayStation. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing, buddy?
Because it's been the Naughty Dog multiplayer game got shelved. Last of Us multiplayer game. Shelved. I think there was a Horizon multiplayer game, or at least whispers of it.
Yes. Wasn't there a rumor that it got canceled, or maybe they're still working on it?
In my head, it's canceled. Yeah. But maybe that's just my brain being like, of course it's going to be canceled. Then whatever this new thing is, Concord, was that a Sony product?
Yes, Concord were Sony, and it was one of the... I don't want to say one of the worst.
Stars?
But one of the biggest misses. No, Foam Stars was Square Enix, I believe.
Squeenix?
There was
I thought you said Bone Stars.
There was All-Star Destruction Derby. It's not the real name, but the PS5 launch title. Yeah. Not launch. No, it came out. It got delayed a couple months, and then remember they were trying to charge full price for it, and then they were like, no, actually it's free, and it still didn't take off. So. Yeah, PlayStation for me, I think you're totally right.
Doing the single player stuff.
Yeah, their strong suit is existing IP and existing publisher developer connections, right? They're still kind of the preferred console from software games, for Square Enix games, etc. But that's kind of always up and down. The single player games, they're knocking it out of the park. Hardware, I want to say they're doing fine, but it's not because their hardware is better than the Xbox. It's just because their brand has a lot more grip than Xbox does. So it's not like they're building better hardware. It's just easier for them to sell hardware, and that's why they're selling a lot more of it.
Because they had more than a 10-year head start in the hardware game than Microsoft did, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it also feels like they're starting to squander all of that with some of these piss poor decisions, especially with Concord being a $400 million game. And all that money is gone. Zero hopes of recovering any of that. They're gonna have to
sell so many more TVs and cameras.
Yeah. So so I don't know. Down. I think they're not at risk of dying or anything like that. They're gonna be okay, but I think literally the number one thing keeping them afloat right now is brand attachment. Is how many people would prefer to play their multi-platforms on PlayStation. How many people will always go to a PlayStation versus an Xbox, etc. The second thing that's keeping them afloat is Xbox. I saw this tweet. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I believe Xbox is Sony's biggest third-party publisher right now.
I'd believe
because of how many Xbox, Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda, etc. games are coming to and selling on the PlayStation. So Sony is able to stay afloat because of those two things right now, and they have time to deliver in the future, and I'm sure they will. I'm not worried for them yet, but this year is a little bit pivotal for them. They got to decide on their next direction, and trying to do all these online games and having them fail, cancel is not a good step. They need to pivot.
What do they have on the horizon? Ghost of
Zero Dawn.
Ghost of Yotei.
The
Horizon 3.
Interstellar.
Horizon 3 is going to come.
Intergalactic.
Intergalactic Planetary.
Marathon
the
is
game
September.
with Rahul Kohli.
Oh, I forgot they have Housemarque. Yeah, the
Marathons.
But I think Marathon might be the make or break on PlayStation's continued online endeavors.
Yeah.
Because if they can get some money out of that, I feel like they might keep trying to spin out other stuff with their other studios. But yeah, if Bungie whiffs it, I think Sony's probably going to take a step back and be like, all right, let's do the single player stuff.
And they've got God of War 4.
Oh yeah.
They've got the fucking.
Is that the only thing Santa Monica's working on?
Probably.
Wait, they're
Wolverine
working on another
is
God of War?
Yeah, remember we had this conversation with Kyle a couple months ago where there was a quote, and the quote, I had misread the quote as saying there's only going to be 3 God of War games, but when we went back and looked at it, he was really saying this is the end of this story arc for God of War.
Oh, right.
So the heavy implication was that like this is the end of this trilogy, but there's going to be the next game will be a different direction, different setting, possibly different characters. Like he's basically saying like, because Kratos' son is Loki, I think, and like he's basically saying this third game was the end of his arc.
It was only the second
fuck
game, right? Not third game.
Ragnarok
was 2.
The second.
Yeah, maybe
one.
Second game. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I think he was saying
just 2 games. And then the third game is different. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
I think that is.
Yeah. Shit, I was gonna say something. I forgot.
Yes, we did it, Chad.
We just about Santa Monica Studio.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
If the rumors are true, because it hasn't been revealed yet, but Spider-Man 2 team is moving to Wolverine. So they do have Wolverine, which will probably be a PlayStation exclusive like Spider-Man.
Because it's Insomniac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have stuff. They have some exclusives in the pipeline, and again, they're the preferred console for multi-platform games. So they're not in trouble yet. But this is a big bet for them, and I think it's failing. I think the sooner the better they pivot away from this, or at least pivot a decent chunk of resources and money away from it, the less it'll hurt for them.
Next Hello Games game is also multiplayer.
Yes. Light No Fire?
But that'll be multi-plat, right?
I think so, because No Man's Sky is multi-platform. Or it is now. It wasn't at the start, but it is now.
But Hello Games isn't... They're not a Sony studio either. They just have the publishing deal, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess
No
you're
Man's
right.
Sky.
Yeah, in my head, they had been acquired, but I think you're right.
Yeah. So, yeah. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out through the rest of the year. Like you said, Marathon coming out, which leads into the next news story.
Mm-hmm.
Hot off the Twitter presses, Marathon Alpha is using stolen art from 4NT1R34L artist who basically... It's a crazy name. Basically posted this saying, look at all this art on the walls in the Marathon Alpha that is straight ripped from my art that has been published previously online. This is third or fourth stolen art scandal?
Yeah, and a couple of the times it's been that they've been able to kind of point a finger at outside vendor and say, oh, they didn't do their due diligence. And it seems like maybe they're going to try to do that this time, and of course, without being inside Bungie HQ, I have no idea what is true or not. But I know that they were saying already that they had used an outside vendor for some of the environmental work, and so it seems like that they might take the fall for that. But yeah, the fact that it's happened more than once is
wild,
very
weird.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's, I don't want to say this isn't a big deal. Unfortunately, it is less of a big deal. It happens a lot in the industry now and still deserves to be slammed. But this just feels like another feather in the bad press cap for Marathon after a very lackluster alpha. Poor reception to the $40 price tag or presumed $40 price tag, the non-free-to-play news. And then also Arc Raiders coming out very soon after that with an alpha or beta. And being essentially the same game premise, but blowing Marathon out of the water. So Marathon kind of has a lot lined up against it right now. I'm not sure they're gonna have a good launch, quite frankly, unless they turn it around somehow.
September.
That sounds about right. It's close.
I was just gonna say, I was so ready to be like, I don't know, this guy doesn't have much to stand on. Blah blah blah. And I realized
It's pretty specific.
I was looking at the pictures wrong. I thought those two pictures in the tweet were just his posters on top of each other, and then below the subtweet was what he thought they were copying from. And I was like, those are not that similar. But now I realize they're call out examples from his posters to the thing.
You know, for a graphic design artist, he made some terrible evidence images that are hard to read. But once you read them, it's pretty clear evidence.
Yeah. It just like small on the tweet. I thought there's like this weird like future collage he made, and I was like, yeah, I guess I can see it. No, it's very much stolen assets for sure. That's wild.
Yep.
Awful. Well, that's the news, folks. Thank you, Ian, for dredging up all the delicious news. And now it's time. This is going to be a short segment because I really only have one bit prepared, but we can talk about it a little bit longer. What?
Hey, you guys can talk about it as much as you want. It's not that I wouldn't mind sticking around, but I just remembered Maggie's on the way home and I completely forgot to get dinner started. So I'm not going to be part of this conversation. If you don't mind, I can go ahead and drop.
No, this is only for you. The only part I want is to reveal to you what the fucking object of Christianity is.
I'm fine.
It's quick. It's very quick. It's very quick. Okay.
The biblical MacGuffin.
Okay. Let me just tell you where I ended. I ended when you got to Peru and you have the intro mission, and then I think
none of that matters.
Like, go.
None of that matters. I'm not talking about any of that.
That's all I know.
You complained, and we've all complained, that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has a terrible title. It's a terrible title. And there's a reason it's a terrible title, Ian. And can you guess what that reason is?
Is it because the Great Circle is referring to an artifact?
No. It's because the great title for this game is already taken by another Indiana Jones movie.
Is it?
Can you guess what it is?
Is it the Ark?
Okay, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark should be the title of this game because they find
the Ark in the Covenant?
No.
What other biblical ark is there?
What do they find?
Oh, they find the real Ark?
Noah's fucking Ark. But
it's not in the right spot. Like
it's
they found Noah's Ark.
A ziggurat in Iran.
But they found it. Or wait, did they go to Iran in the game?
Yeah,
or are you talking about?
They go to Iran.
No, but didn't they find it in Turkey?
No, there's been like 3 or 4 different cases of people claiming to have found Noah's Ark.
It's not that scale.
All of pretty
model.
Dubious. Huh?
It's not that one the guy built in where is it?
Kansas or
Tennessee, I think.
Oh, Tennessee. It's that one. Indiana Jones
those
that
fucked
one.
Up states.
No, it's just out of left field, like final mission. Oh, it's Noah's Ark.
It's one of those moments where you literally come around a corner and it's just like boom,
and then they're like
Noah's Ark.
Oh, let's get Noah's Ark out of here. 2 trains pulling Noah's Ark out of like a canyon, and you're just like,
into
what
an adjacent lake.
Fuck is happening
why
here?
does that? Because like going into Peru, you're like, okay, the Great Circle, it's some language thing, and it helps you teleport.
So it was, I believe it's
how the fuck does that connect to the Ark?
Boat
it makes sense, Ian.
Teleports and drops off the people to the different regions of the world, and that's how humanity spread out.
Each of these stones has written in Adamic text. So once you place them all on the steering wheel of the Ark and read the inscription in order, it triggers like essentially like a Stargate type scenario where the Ark can go through the portal to instantly go, and that's how Noah was able to get so many animals from all over the world.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sorry, that's it. I've just been wanting to do that bit for a really long time. Because you specifically were like, it's a terrible name. I'm like, yeah, it should be another name. It's stupid. Game's still great. Actually, the towards the end of that game, when Indiana Jones starts getting those Adamic word powers, almost like
damn. It's pretty good. You didn't. I just looked it up. You didn't mention that when you turn the corner and look at the arc, it has Nazi banners hanging off the front of it.
Banners off of it.
Those are original, actually. It's funny.
Okay, that makes sense.
Huge.
That's also in that same level is one of my favorite moments of you and like the Nazi antagonist, where he's like, I know karate, and then at the very end he fights you by doing like really clunky karate. It's very good.
It's very good. Rip Tony Todd. Rip Tony Todd. He's so good.
R.I.P.
Anyways, folks, that's gonna do it.
Too.
That's gonna do it for the show. End of spoilers. Spoilers are over. I'm gonna hit the music. We're gonna get out of here. Ian's gonna make Maggie dinner, and we're all gonna be satisfied. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I've been your host, Will Crosby. Joining me this week was the lovely Ian Gibson and the wonderful Jake Terrio and Waffle. Folks, subpixelfilms.com is where you can go to find all of our beautiful content. You can find me on Blue Sky at Hunt270. You can find Ian on Blue Sky and Twitter at Think Gibson. You can find Jake in a ditch out back, and also on Twitter and Blue Sky, or Twitter at Jake Terrio. Check out all of our content. We've got a merch store where you can buy things. People are still buying Malevelon Creek veteran hats and stickers. They can be yours, folks. You can get them. With those sneaky tariffs coming up, you got to get in there fast. We'll be back tomorrow. I believe we're gonna do a day stream with a fun little thing.
That's right, noon Eastern tomorrow. We're gonna check out the Nuon, which, if you've never heard of it, was a very weird little early 2000s DVD player video game console.
Hell yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited also to edit the music to end right here. See you next week.